let's talk about Blink Twice. I have to make myself like obnoxiously bigger now because TikTok keeps flagging my videos for being unoriginal, even though my opinions are pretty original for the movies I talk about. Whatever. Go check out my Thelma and Didi review. But on the subject at hand, Blink Twice. This is Zoe Kravitz's first directorial debut, and I think she does a fine job of creating atmosphere, creating tension, getting some really good performances out of her cast, and she does this really stellar job of framing all her shots. The film itself conceptually is a really good idea. I think the only places that it kind of falters is in its writing at some points. I feel like she had really great ideas, but didn't know how to flesh it out. There are some moments in this film that do take a long time to develop, especially in the beginning half of the film. So if you're a person that wants to get into it right away, you might feel like it is dragging in the beginning. But what I think Zoe Kravitz does here is very deliberate in a way to emphasize what her main point is, which she usually reveals by the third act of the film. It does feel a bit rushed when it does happen, and ultimately the ending left me a little deflated, but overall I think the experience is something to be experienced. I don't want to spoil this movie because a lot of it really relies on the mystery and what's actually happening on this island to these people. If I talk too much about it, it will kind of spoil it in a sense. But I do like the themes that this movie tackles about wealthy people being able to get away with so much, taking advantage of women especially, and how women need to stand up together. And I appreciate Zoe Kravitz's vision for what this movie does, because in a more male-centric lens, this movie could have come off a little bit. It could have indulged itself more in some of the gratuitous scenes that happen in the film, but she does it in a way where it's more about the emotions and the aftermath. You see the pain, the shame, and some of like the stuff that the characters go through after these events and the things that reveal themselves. The performance from this cast is also really good. I really like Naomi Aiki in this performance. She is a character that has a lot of pain. She goes through a lot of things. The other standout I really liked in this movie was Adria Arjona. I think she gives a really standout performance in this movie. She's very charismatic and very ownish of what happens in this movie. And then I think this is one of Channing Tatum's best works in recent time. He does comedy really well, but it's really good to see him in something a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more villainish. This is definitely a movie that is worth checking out, especially for Zoe Kravitz's unique vision and direction. She really owns her craft. She has a really confidence in creating atmosphere and tension. The soundtrack and music that she uses in this film is really good. This is a really well-made first-time film. There is a lot of potential for her second outing to be something truly spectacular and special. I do think like a little bit of the writing could have used tweaking, just to give us a little bit something more satisfactory, especially towards the end, and just to emphasize the message and not like lump everything in the third act with the reveals. I do like how this film does pay off almost everything that they kind of introduce in terms of like character motives or like images, like a scar or like certain phrases and stuff. It does have a payoff later, which I really appreciate in this film. And then just a really good performances from the entire cast. I do think it takes a while for it to really give us what we want, but I feel like it was done in a deliberate way to make the third act a little bit more impactful. But at the same time, I'm like, there were things that could have been done to kind of amp us up for it a little bit more in a more interesting way. But other than that, this is a really good first-time film from a first-time director and writer with a really cool concept. I just, again, wish the execution was just a little bit tweaked, but this is getting me really excited to see Zoe Kravitz behind the lens because she really has a knack for it.